Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I am your humble host, Mr. David Null, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers, and I greet you with the love and the honor of the infinite creator. And I continue to pray that each and every one of you will accept, receive, and share the blessings of the universe. And for Robert V, Chloe, and oh man, uh, I missed the other. Was looking in the chat. Let me put my glasses back on. And My Sky, there you go. Greetings and blessings to you all. And for those of you folks who have jumped over from Milky Way Messenger and Brian and Kent Nichols. Anyway, blessings to all of you. Now, this particular subject, if you've been following me for a while, and many of you have, and I thank you for that, I kind of wait for angel messages to come along. And I'm like watching things and keeping an eye on the news and, the virus stuff and how people are reacting, all the usual stuff. But in that, it's like, okay, so I'm looking at all this. What does all this mean? So I'm like, well, okay, show me. What should the discussion be? And it's like, okay, well, let's think about this wisdom. Now, we had a really bad storm come through here last Wednesday or Thursday. I was supposed to be on with Brian of Milky Way, and the lights were out, and the computer was glitching, and I couldn't reach him, and so I missed the show, and I'm very sorry about that. And Brian, I sent you emails and a message, and I hope you got them because it was beyond my control. But the tornado was like about 2 miles north of here. And I've had two tornadoes literally go over my house in the last 40 years that I've lived here. So there were trees down. The power was out for about 10 hours, roughly. And I realized that, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, the lights went out for a while, and I do another storm, and yesterday the lights went out before the storm, which was interesting for about 30 or 40 minutes. And I thought to myself, we really depend on electricity because I've got things that I could plug in for 12-volt fans and things and stuff. But if the modem doesn't have the right amount of juice to it, it's not going to connect. And, the phone, these phones work off of, guess what? Electricity, because it's one of these house phones it's a radio. So even though I have a hardwired telephone versus a cell phone, but the thing is what does wisdom teach you? Now I wanted to read because I was interested in the definition of wisdom. Okay, so let me go over a couple of things here, just as a wisdom, sort of from a Wikipedia. Now, I used DuckDuckGo and I just typed in what is wisdom. Wisdom, sapience, or sagacity, boy, that's a good one, is the ability to think and act using knowledge, experience, understanding, common sense, and insight. Wisdom is associated with attributes such as unbiased judgment, compassion, get this, experimental self-knowledge, transcendence, and non-attachment, and virtues such as ethics and benevolence. How about that? Now, from gotquestions.org, what is wisdom? What is the difference between wisdom and knowledge? The answer, supposedly. Wisdom and knowledge, both reoccurring themes in the Bible, are related but not synonymous. The dictionary defines wisdom as the ability to discern or judge what is true, right, or lasting. Knowledge, on the other hand, is information gained through experience, reasoning, or acquaintance. Well, I was acquainted with the dictionary once, and I learned how to I learned how to use it and find out what the word wisdom means. Anyway, one could say that wisdom is the appropriate application of knowledge, and that is so. But upon reviewing wisdom in the Bible, this invaluable virtue is deep, immeasurable, priceless, and rare. Okay. Psychology Today says wisdom is one of those qualities that is difficult to define because it encompasses so much, but which people generally recognize when they encounter it. Okay, so I was walking down the street one day and I encountered wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Just okay. So with that, we could say, all right, well, why are okay, Hawkeye? Why are you bringing wisdom into this? Because I think if anything has taught the human race here recently, it's that maybe they should use a little bit of wisdom with some of their choices and some of the choices that they've already made or not made, as the case may be. And let's just give a simple explanation, possibly, of what wisdom is. Okay, there's a fire. All right, there's a campfire, and you go to stick your hand in the fire to pick up a log, and it burns you. What does that tell you? Now, is that wisdom? The wisdom is that log's on fire. Fire burns. That's knowledge. That's your intellect. You're processing this. So you realize, and you might have to pick up that log 2 or 3 times, depending on the person, and realize that, wait a minute, it's hot, stupid. Don't pick it up. So now, is that wisdom or is it knowledge or is it both? Now, the knowledge is that a fire burns, but I've seen people, I myself am one of those crazy people, that have picked things up that were very hot. And, I've been involved in some fire ceremonies and things, which is like really some crazy stuff. But it's amazing. Excuse me, Bob, I just want to say hello. Thank you for the live stream. Thank you for allowing us to have this conversation. Thank you, Chloe and Robert and Delaney. How are you? Again, Project Skyfalls. Blessings to all of you. And if I missed your name, I, the glasses reflect weird when I try to do this. Anyway, but thank you, Bob and Ween. We love you. But now with wisdom. So if fire, hey Jody, how are you? Blessings to you. And I meant to get back to you. You sent me a message, and I'm doing okay under the circumstances, I think, along with everybody else. This cool weather and stuff, I'm trying to get some projects done around the house. There's some serious things that need to get done around here before it gets too hot. And I've been working in the evening, working in the middle of the night, doing some of these projects before it gets too hot. So, and I have neglected to come on here and do some live streams. Plus, I have a new four-legged. His name is Duggar. And some friends of mine had to move out of a house and move to a different location, and they couldn't keep the dog. So they've asked me months ago if they had to get rid of the dog, would I take the dog? And I said yes, because I've met the dog before. It's a good dog. He's laying over there on the couch right now. Sleeping, got his eyes closed. And, I met him. He was part of my family. These friends of mine, I've known them for 25 years or more, and at least 20 years. And, they were like, we're going to have to give the dog up. Nobody can take him. And, what about the grandkid, the girls, they're, crying. And well, Uncle Dave's got the dog now. So some parameters in my life are going to have to change because of the dog. I just can't jump in the truck and go to the store because the dog's not used to staying home right now. So I'm going to have to take the dog with me and things and stuff. Okay. But wisdom, what does the dog have to do with this? I've had many dogs in it previously, and wisdom has taught me what to do or what not to do with a new dog. And I made a mistake the other day and trying to bring him over to his water dish, and he wouldn't go get a drink of water because I kind of was not forcing him, but kind of sort of in his eyes, and I had to move the water dish. Wisdom told me he ain't going to drink out of that dish where you put it, because whatever it is, I put a little bit of fear in him when he first got here, and all I was trying to do, you can't lead a dog to water and make him drink, I'm telling you. But so I had to move his dish. And he's been drinking water just fine and so forth because he's a little skittish. It's new. But wisdom told me, Dave, Hawkeye, you made a mistake right there. And I knew it as soon as I made it. But wisdom also taught me we got to change this, we got to think about this, we got to move this, new dog, new situation, etc. Anyway, so but it is wisdom though intelligence. Well, if you will use your intellect, you will realize that the wisdom that you gain at 67 years young, yeah, I don't think I want to be old anymore. But at 67 years young, I look back over my life at all the mistakes and stuff, and the wisdom is, that was a good idea, and that one was crappy. Don't do the crappy stuff. Do the good stuff. This had bad effects. This had good effects. This had a bad outcome. This had a great outcome. Which do you choose? Now, by experimental whatever it was I experiences that I read earlier in a definition. So each of us have to learn in our own way what's good, what's bad, what works for us or not. Are you right-handed, left-handed? Are you ambidextrous? What the hell does ambidextrous mean? What's a four-legged? Well, anyway. So we learn things, but does it give us wisdom? Just because somebody knows how to solder two wires together doesn't make them an electrician. But years of working on electronics gives them wisdom, and they can go, well, I can look at this board and see that there's a spot over here on this circuit board that's fried. This might be an area I should check first. The knowledge and the wisdom, because you've tried so many other things before, that's the experiment in life, if you will. Well, let's see if this works. That crapped out. Let me do this then. Well, every time I try to do it this way, it never works. But when I try to do it this way, stuff works for me. Oh, or it's at least easier. Oh, so do we torment ourselves? Or so in this lifetime now, the whole planet has been affected by this, right? We know what. What is the outcome? Well, people are mamby-pammying about this or that. Can you control what's going on in your house? Can you control what's going on with your life? Can okay, now I got to go outside to pee with the dog in the middle of the night, rain or shine. But, okay, I might be grumpy at times. And when the dog wakes me up to say, I got to go, better than cleaning the floor. But to the wisdom also says, maybe, I should limit the food and take away his water at a certain time so he's not drinking all night long when I'm sleeping and he's sneaking over there to the water dish. And that's why he's got to pee at 4 a.m, because he's drinking a lot of water. So there are things that we can do. I'm not going to withhold water from him, but I might not fill it up after 9 o'clock at night, and we go out and take our round at 11 or 12. I took him out before I started this video. But anyway, wisdom though, the intelligence of using what I've learned with the many critters I've had over the years, watching critters and having them and doing and understanding animal behavior and watching the animal instead of trying to make it do what I want it to do, modify its behavior so that it will want to do what I want it to do. In other words, I'll go for a walk, but you're going to have to wear this leash. And, if you pull on the leash, it didn't take him but one day to figure out. Didn't work. But if I tugged a little bit on his collar and let him know that you're going in the wrong direction with just a stop or a slow or easy commands, and I've only had him 4 days, so it's like, but he's already responding to simple tugs with this collar without choking the living, but he's choking himself. I'm just standing there holding the leash. But wisdom says if he's going to do that so much, you have to intervene and go, all right, now calm down. So I'll give him a hug. I'll get down on his level. I don't stand over him and point. I get down eye to eye with the dog and I say, okay, here's the deal. We're going to go for a walk, but you can't trip me up. I don't want to fall on the ground, So you have a little chat with the dog and you're kind and you're patient and you're calm with your voice. So the next time the dog hears you, and when you say, calm down, go slow. And I use, simple phrases so that he understands. And so far he's doing really good after 4 days of being here or 5. Anyway, I think I got him on Monday. But anyway, but wisdom, understanding, knowledge. Now, what does that have to do with what's going on with us today? There are those of us who had the wisdom to know that if a storm comes, and one can come at any time, okay, there's provisions. I've got candles. I've got, when the lights went out, I right over here on the table is a solar battery charged thingy, and it sits right there. And if the lights go out, it pops on immediately. It sits in the window and gets enough light to keep the battery charged. So I've got simple things like that, that if there is a situation, I can deal with it. And it's really simple. Is the refrigerator running? No, because I don't want to run and catch it. Anyway, that's an old joke. Call people on the phone. Is your refrigerator running? Better go catch it. Anyway. But the idea, though, that it's like, okay, this has happened before. It's probably just a local thing. Well, come to find out that tornado last week went through Moultrie and tore up part of the school north of me, and just, oh man, it tore up a bunch of stuff. Didn't kill anybody. We were very lucky that it didn't hurt any. It hurt a bunch of buildings. The old cotton gin where I used to work, it pretty much destroyed the building. Didn't tear some of the machinery and insides. Okay, but anyway, enough of that. But the wisdom of what we've experienced. Now, where do we go from here? What have you learned? Hey, sweet Pete. Wait, that's David Castle. Hi, how are you? I thought, never mind. Sorry, I was thinking of Sweet Pea. Chloe, hi, how are you? BTW, I think. Yeah. Pleased to see you all here, and thanks for hanging out. Now, so we each learn our own little stuff, but the wisdom is, do we stick our hands in the fire? Okay. So, like for example, if you're if you're with a group of folk, and you know that if you say certain things about 9/11 or, conspiracy something, or you're going to start an argument. Hey, Candy, how are you? Good to see you here too, as well. So, do you go ahead and argue with the person? Do you go ahead and bring up the subject that's going to really start an argument, and because you want to get your point across? Or does wisdom say maybe you should just like stand there and listen and interject little comments like, well, are you sure about that? Or, do you have any proof? Or, without being malicious, or I used to attack folks. You're crazy. You think that's the truth? Let me tell you something about these Catholic priests. That was my thing back in the day. So, but with that though, I have to take the wisdom and say, well, wait a minute now, is this good for me internally? The wisdom is that every time the subject of Catholic priests and that kind of stuff came up, I became emotionally attached to what happened to me and to other people. And, and so anger and this and that, you can't deal with things correctly if that's every time you think of it, if that's how it's going to come out. So in my discussion over the years on these topics, we have to leave those things behind. So wisdom tells us, or it should, if you're still doing the same stupid thing over and over and over again, like sticking your hand in the fire or touching two wires, sticking your finger in the outlet in the house, that maybe that's not the thing that you should be doing. Intellect, the wisdom, common sense. And I think that this particular time on the planet, a lot of people are starting to use a little bit of common sense, where I think before things got a little out of hand. I'm sorry, but I don't want my house to be controlled by anything but me. People who's got I can change, I can check what's on the channel. I can, check what's in the refrigerator. I can, please. I'm sorry. The Jetsons, that was cool. But this stuff that I see these days, I'm not quite so sure, because if the power goes off, nyet. And it goes on frequently out here in the country for various reasons, because I'm 20 miles from the city, and stuff happens. But so wisdom says, well, guess what? I've got backup this, I've got candles, I've got batteries, I've got this, I've got lights, I've got da 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 da. I got water storage, I got what I need. Okay, up to at 90% as far as I'm concerned. And so the lights go out and I have to camp in the house. Big deal. But the thing is though, but I've had my camping stuff, so I'm prepared. I got a gas stove, so I don't have to worry about electricity. And the only thing that I quote have to worry about is what's in the freezer and the refrigerator. So don't go in there, But wisdom tells me keep the door shut, you know. And depending on how long it is, now if it was going to be a couple of days, then other arrangements should be made and so forth. Go try to find ice, blah blah blah. Anyway, but to the point though. For a short term, listen, I'm already comfortable. Yeah, it's like, shit, the power's off. But we made it. We're still alive. Nothing tragically happened, thank goodness. Um, and trees were down, there were 3 trees down on my road right up here, and limbs all over the place. But and that was just last week's big rear end of a thunderstorm. Anyway, wisdom though should tell us that for any future events, hopefully not as big as this mess that's going on right now. See, I don't even want to use the term because it gives it energy and strength, and I just refuse to use. I'll say virus. That's it. That could mean about anything. But the idea though that more people die of weird diseases than across the planet than have died from this thing is just a little makes you want to scratch your head. But anyway, so we've all learned something. We've learned that vinegar can disinfect and smells a lot better than bleach, I might add. And that there are other things that we can do. People have learned how to hug from a distance. Now that we're all in this together, there are people who have their mindset has changed. And I sincerely doubt that it's going to change anytime soon because we're all going to remember April of 2020. Everybody that's alive now is going to remember April of 2020. You can bet you. It's going to go down. I'm just saying April was the month that everything shut down here for us, but across the planet, So if, wisdom should tell us we ain't going to do this no more. We're not going to pull this. In other words, if this happens again, we're going to have the wisdom of this event now to be able to prepare us for the future. At least we should use this time and go, what has this taught me? Me, I'm down here in the country. I'm down here on the edge of the swamp. It has affected me only slightly compared to a lot of other people. Now, that's by my choice. I have lived like this since I moved here the last 40 years. It was my choice to live off the land, to, dig my own well and to build my own buildings and to, grow my own food and so that was my choice a long time ago, but now people are reconsidering and reevaluating because they've got the wisdom of looking at what's happening now and thinking to themselves, you know what? Maybe I should rethink the future. Maybe I should take this lesson and use it to my advantage. Maybe, we as a planet should use this time to reconsider our values. What is really important? A damn good hug from somebody wouldn't hurt. Now, I got a couple of friends of mine. We're still hugging. Trust me. We're still hugging. But I don't know where they've been, and they don't know where I've been, but there are a couple of us, we're still hugging. Me and my friend Marcia. We might wash our hands, but we're still hugging. Anyway. But she knows I'm not taking any chances. And anyway, so, but to the point though, how important is just a hug or a handshake? Like, hi, how you doing? I used to go into Bale Mercantile in Moultrie. I've been doing business with them ever since I moved to Moultrie 40 some years ago. And I went in there the other day and the guy was about to shake my hands. I've known him since he was a youngster like me. And he's still working there after all these years, and he's a general manager, blah, blah, blah. And I went to shake hands, and he was like, maybe next time. So there are certain common cordialities, but our wisdom says, right now, we're just going to do air handshakes. We're going to wave at each other. We're going to do these, the young kids are doing these air hugs. I think it's great. No touchy air hugs. They put out their arms like this, or come on, air hug, but they don't touch. I, it's great. They still want to hug, but they figured it out. Well, I'll hug you from here. We're going to do an air hug. Well, okay. But the thing that I find so interesting is that people seem to want to hug a little more. They miss the hugs because now they can't have it. It's a human nature kind of thing to get a hug from another human being or a four-legged critter, an animal, a horse, rabbit, dog, cat, doesn't matter. Gerbil. I had a Rocky, my little oh man, my ferret friend. He was great. Had a flying squirrel once too. But anyway, so four-leggeds, critters can bring a lot of, warmth and hug. This dog over here was crying yesterday. And mom and daddy called me on the phone, we miss our dog. Is he doing okay? And I was like, he's eating, blah, blah, blah. And I went over there and there was little tears running down his eyes over there. I just grabbed him up in my arms and hugged him. Now he can't talk to me, but I could tell the sadness on his face. He misses where he was. He's in a new place. And although I'm treating him as well as possible, he's missing his hugs. He's missing the people, the little grandkids, and I'll figure when things calm down, I'll take him back up and we'll visit and we'll go visit with them and the grandkids will come over and we'll have to come back home here. But, so keep him in the family. But wisdom says the reaction of the animal needed a hug. And so without being able to hug, people are like wanting to hug more in the right way. You know what I mean? Cheers, thumbs up, everybody. That's a good thing. So this experience has changed us all. Now, our wisdom up to this point, what did it bring us? Now, each one's got me and my friend Eddie Murphy, who's not funny and not black, lives down the road a piece over here, a couple miles. And, he's calling me up going, has this really affected you, Dave? Not really, Ed. How about you? Nah, I still got, venison in the freezer and I still got the, you know, it's not really affecting us because this is our sort of lifestyle. Not necessarily hermitish, but a hermit, yeah. But country folk. I mean, a lot of country folk are prepared for the lights going out because they know. And I keep using that, but that's the simplest thing to use as a reference. But how we deal with things. Can you do something online, or can you do something at a distance? I didn't know that if I handed someone my credit card or my and that I was going to wipe it off when I got it back because they touched my card. Went and got a pizza, and handed it to the person. I wiped it off or I handed it to him, which how many of us have done before? And then I wiped it back off when I got it back from them through the window. And I don't know, maybe they wiped it off when they got it. And so it's like when I used to work in the carnival, and we handled a lot of cash. There was never anything other than that. Some of the money that you got would be sopping and dirty and wet. And I've sweated on an afternoon and had money in my pocket and pulled it out to go pay somebody. And the money was drenched with sweat from me. And it's like, and so does money actually transmit viruses? Now, I bring this up in that the cashless society thing. Now I don't want to go overboard with this, but maybe it's not such a bad thing. The Bitcoin, but I'm not talking about that. But I mean, just the use of the card instead of handing money. But there are still things that I'm going to need cash for. That's just all there is to it. I'm going to have money in my back pocket. Don't care. Even if they say we're not going to take money anymore, I'm still going to have money in my pocket. Um, I got a silver certificate here. That's one of those real dollar bills. Um, back in the day, it's different colors and everything. It's still a dollar bill, and it says silver certificate on it, not Federal Reserve note. But but the idea though that how many hands has that dollar bill in its 50 some odd years of existence, because it was from the 60s and they took them out of circulation. But so what's on that dollar bill? DNA, blah 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 blah, viruses, dirt. It's a dirty bill. So, but so what's contained in it? Are we spreading things around simply by touching things? Now, I don't. There are folks who are germaphobes. I am not suggesting that, but it has given us a totally different viewpoint now on whether or not I'm going to hand my card over to somebody, then maybe wipe it off, especially if they're standing behind the counter. You doing okay today, Mister Dave? Yeah, I think I'll wipe it off. Because you might be catching it. But that's just the cold. I'm not talking about the virus. But anyway, so our wisdom as we go forward with this. Are we going to use what we've learned? Has anybody learned anything from this? Now, from my experience, I'm just glad that I've chosen this lifestyle because it hasn't affected me much. But other people are going to reconsider their lifestyles. I bet you. Folks in New York City that are living in a high rise, they might want to reconsider that after this. Just saying. Maybe not. Who knows? But the wisdom of our spirituality. Now, I'm taking this out of practical 3D things, and let's use this now. So, what have we learned spiritually from all of this? Many of us have learned that, oh my God, a hug, not be able to go over and hug your friend, or, because you're afraid that they're the social distancing. Wait a minute, we're alone together. What? So there are all these things that are going on now. Facebook this and we'll do that, blah 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 blah. And but in other ways, it's actually, I think, is wanting to bring people together more, ironically. And watching the whole scenario is just like, it's just going to be dead burn interesting to see how this pans out in the future. I'm very hopeful because I think there are enough people who are waking up to very basic realities. And in that, they're starting to see some spiritualness in it. Like, you know what? I didn't have time for a garden before, and for some reason now I've decided to spend a little money and some time, and I'm going to grow something, and I'm going to uh, really. I mean, I'm glad for these people. They are going to make the effort. Now, wisdom, spiritually and physically, isn't going to do a dadgum bit of good if you don't act on it. So, for me, down in after that big storm last week, the water came up, and we got 4.5 inches of rain here. Man, it flooded in the back. I mean, in like a couple of hours, there was a foot of water in my swamp in the back. And so I drug a kayak down there and went trying to floating around. And I realized, turn around and go back, because wisdom and knowledge had taught me that as much as I wanted to go floating in my own backyard, and I've been waiting on this for years now, because it used to be an annual event, that maybe not that night or that at that time. And so I came back. But the way the water was and the amount of trees down, a bunch of stuff. But anyway, I realized common sense, even though I had my PFD on and the water was really only this deep in many places, I had to scooch through the swamp, still not good. Get trapped under a log, and can't, that's happened to me with rising waters in my own backyard. So it's like wisdom said, this is not the time to do this, Hawkeye. Get as much as I wanted to do it. You got to go back. Whereas a few years ago, I might have said, the hell with it. I'm going to go through. Dire consequences, possibly. So wisdom has taught me, we'll try it, but if it's too hairy, back off. And it's not because I'm chicken. It's because I'm not going to be that stupid anymore and have, because I've done dumb things and maybe that wasn't the wisest decision. So my wisdom says back off. Now, that's in this reality. Now, what about spiritually? There are some people who have some of this stuff, and we all agree that it's just mind-bogglingly stupid. The thing with the toilet paper and the this and the people arguing about stuff and it's just it makes me just want to puke at points, because it's just beyond practical, but people's minds have gotten so geared from the fear and everything, they are not using their own wisdom. Then there are the other folks who may be a little bit overcautious because they're trying to use the wisdom and the knowledge and they're trying to listen to the truth, and the truth is changing all the time, right? But the basic thing is though, are they using the wisdom and going, well, wait a minute, maybe I should keep an eye on this. I realize that I have somehow become more aware of nature. Somebody said in Milky Way Messengers chat that they were going outside and great, I've been spending as much time outside as I can. I'm working on projects. I got this going on. I've been pulling up, making room for things and fixing stuff and trying to get as much stuff done before the hot weather sets in, because then I'm going to be stuck in the house too much of the time. But anyway, but the idea, though, that from the spiritual standpoint, I feel stronger because we made it this far, and other people haven't literally jumped. Some of the folks that I thought might have jumped off the deep end have not. If anything, they've taken this thing rather calmly, which I'm like, thank you to the angels and to the spirits that they're listening more. Well, if I got to stay home, well, if I got to, and so they're turning their energies inward. And we got to be careful with this. There are some folks, and I mean no disrespect for anybody. We do have to search inward, but when you find the things inward, you must bring them out. So if you keep looking inward, that's not a good balance. It isn't. You must look inward for answers, but nature and out there are as many answers as well. So you look in to see where you are, and then you look outwards to see how you fit with the universe. So it's a yin and yang and a give and take, and it's a balance. And sometimes you're outside all the time and not looking in, and then sometimes you have to look inward. But I'm a Libra, so I'm always searching for balance. But in that, we all should seek balance. We should seek balance with our pH, and which affects our well-being, which also affects our spiritualness. Because if the motor ain't running right, the who cares if the radio can play? If your car ain't running, so you sit in the yard and you listen to the radio like a bunch of, I'm a redneck, so I can say this, but or a country boy. But anyway, but sitting in the yard with the radio on does not mean the truck's going. You know what I'm saying? And the motor might run, but if the wheels aren't on it, then it's just, So we can have all of these things, but if we don't use them to the fullest, so we look at our surroundings and we say, okay, what's going on? Well, this is affected. This pisses me off over here. Why? Well, because people are acting stupid. Okay. But why is it pissing you off? Well, because these people over here, right? Calm down. Why are you agitated over somebody else's behavior? Calm down. Are you not using your own wisdom? Why are you letting these people who are nuttier than the fruitcake? Why are you wanting to intermingle your energy in their craziness? Have you not learned any wisdom in this? I'm I just sometimes want, psychically speaking, I want to slap them. Wake up. What are you doing? Well, this pisses me off. They're idiots. Leave them alone. But they're idiots. Just calm down. Don't get your bunch, your underwear in a scrunch, Calm down. Ain't truth in me. Chloe, by the way. Oh, Cherry, how are you? Let's see, Chloe. Aurora, how are you? Good to see you as well. Blessings to all of you. But so in this spiritualness, is anybody using their spiritual awareness in this? There people are getting upset over the dumbest things, and I just have to stand here and go, calm down, guys. Now I know there's a lot of radiation. I know there's a lot of cosmic. I know there's all these things that agitate us. But the thing is though that the wisdom is that, wait a minute, maybe I should not go off on this. But maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you should be that cautious observer, Maybe you should stand and just watch this craziness go on without getting jumping into this stuff. Use some of this wisdom that's you're supposedly gaining in your spiritualness. Please, for goodness sakes, quit jumping off the dock into the alligators. They're in there. Quit, oh, but it pisses me off. And this one, and these people over here, and Trump said this, and these people said, calm down. On a local level, okay, you got to stand behind the line. There are people doing things, but down here, maybe it's just the South, but folks are dealing with it. They're still going to the store. They're still doing things, but everybody's in a cautious mode and everybody is being humble most of the time. And I haven't seen any arguments, although there have been a few, but most people are trying to avoid the argument. Well, I'll just stay over here then. Okay. Well, this is how I feel. Okie doke. And, if somebody's being panicked, the last thing you do, like with my new dog, is try to force them to drink out of the water dish. No, you're gonna scare them even more. So what you need to do is kill them with kindness. Shinga kadita. And so, you don't want to kill anybody, but the idea though is you want to approach this with kindness and with respect and honor. I've talked about honor and respect a lot, but people think, well, but what about my honor? Well, sometimes, well, what about my feelings? But what about how I feel? But sometimes you have to put that aside. Why? Because if you're only worried about your own feelings, you're not going to know how am I going to know that the dog's crying if I'm worried about my own feelings? That's just a simple explanation. But, but I could say, oh, that dog's really sad. Well, okay, wisdom has showed me he's got tears running down his eyes and he's in a really mopey mood instead of being all happy and doggy waggy tail thingy. So, but, wisdom says, oh, that dog's, depressed. Well, you just okay, but then the next part of the wisdom is do something. Give the dog a hug. So in this time, are we using our wisdom correctly? Okay, we're learning stuff. All right, well that's good. I mean it. I really mean it. That people are learning and are starting to get it. But at the same time, are we just going to sit here and watch it? But the casual observer. But the things that will pick. Well, these people in Walmart, I can't believe that. I can't believe it either. But why are you getting upset about it? That's my point. It's not that you're talking about it. Talk about it. but it's how it's reacting to you and with you. So if the people at Walmart are pissing you off, shouldn't you just stop and go, why are those people at Walmart pissing me off? Why am I so agitated over this? Because if you are going to learn spiritually, you have to ask the simple, dumb, important questions. Why is this affecting me? Why? Well, I don't know. It just does. Well, but then you better stop and meditate on that. Because if you're letting the folks at Walmart piss you off for whatever the reason, you ain't learned nothing. What do you mean, Hawkeye? You're allowing your emotions to get it. You're not in control. You're allowing someone else's energy to influence yours. You've lost your compassionate observer. You've lost the ability to be objective because now you've allowed these things to come in. Hey, Milky Way. Hey, Brian. I hope you got my message, Brian. I am so sorry about last week, but tornadoes in the neighborhood and lights out was and they were out from like 12 o'clock in the afternoon until after 10 at night. So, but anyway, love you, Brian. Thank you. And I'm really sorry. I hated that missing last week. But anyway, and we still got a discussion about the Big Bang Theory. I didn't get your email, Brian. Isn't that interesting? I didn't get your email. Bob, come on now, be nice. We're trying to communicate here. But I swear, Milky Way, Brian, I didn't get your email back. But okie doke, I will check again. Messing with us, ain't they? But anyway. Okay, thank you. Um, yeah, I wouldn't drop out on you, man, if I could have got in touch with you. But anyway. All right. So, but anyway, so the idea, though, the idea of wisdom. So now we're accumulating the knowledge. All right. Well, so this virus thing and the people, and we've learned that the government shuts things down. We realize that the just in time. We realize all these things, and toilet papers at a premium, and all these other stuff. And so this is information. This is intelligence gathering, if you will. So we gather this intelligence of what's happening to us and all the physically. But are we going to take this information and use it wisely? To use it wisely means that we must use wisdom. And if we're not going to use the wisdom that we've accumulated, then what's the point? Are we going to stumble forward into the mud? Snowshoes have a purpose. I'm just saying. They'll work in mud under certain circumstances. But if you're going to go out in 6 foot snow, put on your snowshoes. If you're going to go walking in the swamp, put your waders on, and take a big stick. There are things that you do. So you can have the intelligence, but having the information doesn't make you a brain surgeon. Well, I seen a picture of a thing on somebody's brain. They just went in there and plucked that out with a little old needler. So I could do that. Hold still, Jimbo. We're going to shave the back of your head and pull that sucker out. No. Wisdom and intellect should tell us rednecks with, after 2 6-packs are not brain surgeons, even though they might convince themselves of such. Our wisdom tells us differently, but spiritually, how do we gauge it? I went to church last week. Well, if that's your bag, okay, fine. What'd you do there? Well, we had a sermon and and he read a thing and we sang a song. Did you get anything out of it? Well, no, I saw Bobby Jean over there and I saw Sally Mae over there. And oh God, oh Lord have mercy. You should have seen that dress that she was wearing. Oh, Lord have mercy. What did you learn? Did you gain anything spiritually? How did you feel after the service? Well, I don't know. Did you feel more alive? Did you feel more spiritually involved? Well, I can't. We went to Denny's afterward and had the big lunch special. They do that with yeah, right. Okay. But how many people, I mean, here in the chat room, you folks, and hanging out with Brian and Milky Way Messenger, when we get done or while during the chat, there are times when all of us have made some kind of remark that, we can feel the energy of the family, of us, of the tribe of us, and we feel energized by, this connection. And thank you all. I love you all. I do. Thank you so much for your participation in this, because without you it would just be meaningless. But to the point that we actually are using our combined wisdoms to help in any way that we can, one way or the other. Whether it's prayers in a particular way, whether it's something over here, or maybe, we know somebody that needs some help, or whatever it is. But I can say when I get done, hanging out with y'all at Milky Way, or that y'all hang out with here, I feel spiritually better. There is something changed in me because of our communication. But I've been to churches and sang and been in and have been filled with the Lord. But I've looked at other people in the church and they didn't seem to get it the same way I did. So maybe that was only meant for me. But when we congregate like we do in this virtual space out here, we are all together. We are the League of Like Minded Beings. But our spiritualness is palpable at times. You can taste it. Sometimes it's a little bittersweet, but you can say, wow, man, I really got something out of hanging out. Wow, man, I got some, wow. And so many of you, God bless you all. I mean it. We're making headway. So, where do we take this wisdom that we're learning up to this point? We must be very careful that we do not become egotistical with, I made it this far, so, I can do it again. Mm, we have to have confidence without becoming egotistical. Now, I'm positive if I look at the river and I see where the water is, and I've got my PFD on, and I've got my paddle, and I got my kayak, I'm sure I know how to paddle it. So that's not being narcissistic. That's confidence, that's practice, it's years of experience, it's the wisdom of knowing if the water's too high or it's too low or whatever, and knowing what my limits are. But that can only be done with experience. So now that we're gaining this experience, what do? We have to be able to pull it together, each of us in our own way. We look inside so that we can share it with the outside. We you go outside and look up at the universe and the stars, and if you're really looking at them and really accepting the universe, you can't help but not go, holy cow, man, those stars are just amazing. Or isn't the moon look great tonight? Or that cosmic feeling that you get. Or you were down at the lake and the sunset, or by the ocean, or there was something that filled you spiritually, that gave you a sense of something, right? And that's the wisdom, folks. I go back to certain places because they charge me like this. So I use the wisdom on, well, I'm going to go back to this place because I really need water. I really need to recharge my system so that I can be more of a good being in this universe, not just here on this planet, but in the universe. So before, people only thought of their own neighborhoods, their own towns, but in this particular incident, the whole planet was affected. And in recorded history, when was the last time? Now, there was the world wars, there was the, dropping of the bombs, and there were incidents, but did the whole planet stop doing what it was doing because of what's going on right now for as long as this has? And probably not in recorded history. So, how are we going to use this wisdom? We're going to become narcissistic. We're going to become so egotistical about it. Well, I made it through this. I can make it through anything. No, we can't. But we must be sure of ourselves and go, I have enough confidence now because I've made it this far. And a good, solid confidence. And yes, it involves the ego. but a good solid confidence that yes, I can change a tire. Yes, I can wash my windshield. Yes, I can feed the dog or the cat. Yes, I can walk across the yard. These are things that we know, but in spiritually, can we actually say, I can make it through the next test? When the energies are coming at me, how am I going to react this time or the next time? They're going to make me so upset. I'm going to, or are you going to go, whoa, hang on, something's a little wishy washy here or screwy? My wisdom tells me I better just try to find a calm. Yeah, I know. I just want to feel like running around the yard and, okay, calm down. Maybe there's another way that out. You can let that out. Um, but the thing is, though, have I keep reminded, I keep being reminded sometimes, and I hate bringing it up, but it's about being in jail. There were times when you just had to say yes, sir, no, sir, whether you liked it or not, and just put up with it. But there was the self assurance that, yeah, okay, I'm going to tell this guy, the guard, the man, the dude, yeah, okay. Yes, sir, boss man. Yes, sir, boss man. And he's going to think he's got control over me. And as soon as he turns his back, I'm going to go back to playing cards and I'm going to go back to, making some hooch. And, but yes, sir, boss man, I'm doing you a good job, which we did. Now, that one could say, well, yeah, but that was a little bit of, well, when you're in prison and you want to, get a little high or something or have a drink, lying to the man, that you're making hooch, that's just part of the deal. But anyway, we got so drunk one time they should have busted us, and up an elevator with a pint of hooch. Yeah. Oh, we were sick the next day. It was good though while it lasted. Boy, it'll give you the runs. Don't mix too much yeast, and it'll clean you right out. Let me tell you. But anyway, hi Al, how are you? Invoking favor to you in your. Thank you so much, and all y'all back out there. Somebody else is on here too. Um, it's just good to see, to hang out with y'all. David Cancel, once your thoughts go away from their control system, their systems can no longer maintained without negative energy from fear and hate. Yep. Hey Amanda, how are you? Al, Truth to Me, Candy, Jen, how are you? Yeah, love the big Al out there on the road. But so, but this idea though that and each of us have to look at what we consider wisdom. I mean, 10 years ago, I look at my life and I go, I wouldn't have considered that. 3 months ago, would we have considered what's going on, on the planet now? No. Did we think? Did we think we would handle it as well as we have? There are a lot of people who thought there was going to be a whole lot more bloodshed. Now it ain't over, but it's you know what could have been a really, really bad situation did not go that way. And I say, bravo to us, humankind in whatever way. And that once I think we get over this, I think there are going to be a lot of people who are going to hopefully use this spiritualness that they're getting. Oh my God, I didn't know that staying home and not touching people and it's giving them a different point of view. It's giving them a different awareness of their own 3D reality and how they fit into this universe. And I'm going to continue to pray and hope. And, and people who say, wow, that hopium, it's just a bunch of crap. Listen, if I didn't hope that I could get up out of bed tomorrow without peeing in my britches, I would give up. You know what I'm saying? No, I hope I'm going to get up tomorrow and not pee my britches. That's important. I don't hope I'm going to get up tomorrow and make it so the dog gets out without him peeing in his britches. You don't wear britches. That's, you know what I mean? But so what do we do with this wisdom? Will it be wisdom? Now, it could be information, it could be intelligence, it could be learning and knowledge, but is it wisdom? Only if we use it correctly. So that's the idea. We can have all this information, we can have all the facts, but what really does it boil down to? The wisdom in how to use that information, how to be wise and go, well, I'm not going to go off half cocked. I'm going to keep my panties out of a bunch. You know, it hurts my hemorrhoids when I sit down. There's a big knot in my underwear. Let's move this forward and go, you know what? I'm not sure where this is going, but I'm going to continue to be the compassionate observer because I really don't know what's going to happen. But if I fear it, fear will come. But if I send love and blessings, then I think I'm going to get some of that back. And more people are sending out love and blessings now than I think ever before. 7 billion of us on this planet reacting differently and in a way that is like, what? So, my dear friends, it's been over an hour. I can't believe you know me, yak, 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 yak. But Lindsay, find your own wisdom, find your own center. And going inside is wonderful, but you got to go outside to the universe too. You got to find that balance. And sometimes you have to do a lot of one and then a lot of the other one to get that balance. Sometimes you have to spend a day or two inside just cogitating on a subject. But then if you don't get it out of you and go out into the universe or nature or something, then it'll come up the works. It has a tendency to do so. And so deal with it in your own way, but deal with it in a positive way. If something is bothering you, if the folks at Walmart are getting you riled, and that's just one example, if something's getting you riled, be person enough to go, wait a minute, why is that bothering me? Because if you wish to move forward from any point on, but this point, tomorrow, the next day, if you wish to move forward, if something that continues to bother you and you don't ask yourself, why is this upsetting me? You'll never make it. Why? Because you're going to be so caught up in all the little things. And in order to be honest with yourself and make it to the next level, you must be that honest. You must participate. Use the wisdom, use the knowledge, use the intellect and the universal energy to move forward with it. I hope this has made a little bit of sense. This is, every day is always important. But with the things that are going on and, things are trying to get back to normal and people are moving out and doing things. And, I got 1,200 bucks extra that I had not counted on. So now I'm considering, well, I can get a new roof on part of my house. I can put a couple of folks who don't really have much to do. I can put them to work. I have money now. I don't mind sharing. Here, well, I'm getting a little old to crawl up on the roof, but I'll pay you guys how much? 15 bucks an hour? Fine. Come over and help me put a roof on my house. I've got money now that I did not have before. So, I can help other people by giving them a job. Come work on my house or come do this over here. Hell, if you need 50 bucks, I got 50 bucks I don't need right now. I'll give it to you. So we can do better things with what we have. The wisdom and the knowledge to use it for our future benefits. So, my friends, thank you so much. Brian, is Zen? Oh, Zen, how are you? Who else? Candy Apple, Chloe, Truth to Me. I am thinking we need to start to put our heads together in our wallets and send it to the gentleman who is taking people to court. Zen Stephanopoulos. Howdy, 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 howdy. Um, Brian says we are all in similar frequency. That's how we found one another. Absolutely. And whoops, wait, what's this back up here? Al, you guys are cosmic friends unconditionally. Surely there must be a party out there in other dimensions with no government and taxes. Yeah, I would agree with that. Truth in me says I feel like we're about to be blindsided. Um, the conspiracy nut in me agrees with you. And but the thing is that I can't give it energy. I want to go, this has been a little nutso up to this point, but I don't think it quite turned out the way they expected. So the turning it sideways, they didn't get the intended result, I don't think, because too many people are remaining calm. Yeah, there's the crazy factor, but it's not like I really don't think it's like they intended. Now, so the blindsided side of it is there another round because they got us by the Denangas, and they think that they can manhandle us, if you will, in this situation. Well, as long as we keep our cool, they can try to blindside us. Well, the weather, well, the chemtrails, well, the we already know about this. So what we do is we keep working on what we got. We keep protecting ourselves. We keep using the knowledge and the wisdom to don't let them freak us out ahead of time. Now, I there's a part of me that just wants to go, I think these sons of bitches are up to something. But I every time that thought enters my head, I gotta go, yeah, but we're gonna I don't know how we're gonna handle it, but we're gonna handle it. And I think we're going to handle it because there are so many of us who do not wish to overreact. We don't want to get caught up in it. We understand, oh my God, they're trying to scare us again. There are other levels of people who that I've talked to are now going, you know what? You used to talk some crazy shit, Dave, but now I kind of understand some of your points of view. Man, I could have never asked for anything more than that. If you just got close to one of my points of view, I'm like, whoa, good. For them, like being self-sustaining. But so with this though, I as much as I feel like they got some listen, them folk always got something. Let's just talk about this. We can go back to ancient Egypt and we can go back before then. There were folks that had agendas that had nothing to do with the rest of the human race, if you know what I mean. So, but with that said, though, what do we do with that information? And there are crazy people out there. They're going to try to make us crazy. Well, okay. But what if they try to make us crazy? Calm down. See, they're already affecting you. But Hawkeye, they're good. They might do some. Yeah, and a tree limb could fall on my head. It did once and could happen again. But that don't mean I'm not going to go out the back door anymore because the tree limb might fall on my head. I have the knowledge of, well, I think I'll look and make sure there aren't any rotten limbs up there and the wind's not blowing. I mean, we use the wisdom, we use what we've learned, and we're still learning, and the truth is still coming out, truth in me. But so I agree with you, but I'm trying not to think on that side. I'm trying to stay out of that. And I think a lot of us are. And I think that's what's going to be the difference. They thought they had us. They sort of do, but folks are working around it. And if we throw them another curveball, they might just hit this one out of the park. We'll see. My friends, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Zen, Chloe, Candy Apple, Truth in Me. I says I'm feeling grateful for each of you and appreciate you all. Me too. Thank you. And it's because of your love and your camaraderie and your sharing is wonderful. And that's how we're making the difference. So let's just keep positive. Let's use our wisdom that we've gained up to this. Um, Good night, Zen. Good night to everybody. I'm wrapping this up, but understand also, if we control our own lives and our own using our own wisdom and our knowledge, we are already making an effect, and we can see it. So, my friends, thank you. Stay healthy, stay well, and if something's bothering you, you gotta look in the mirror and go, "Why is this bugging me? Why is this bugging me?" Well, but, and you'll find that when you can control these things that bug you from the sides, that you'll have a whole lot more wisdom, because you will have used some of your energy and your wisdom and your knowledge to look at some of the things that affect you in ways that you like. Well, why? But you got to stop and ask the question, why is that bothering me? And when you simply say, "Well, crap, should it bother me?" That's the second thing. Why is it bothering me? Well, the people piss me off. Should it bother me? No. So don't let it. Thank you, my friends. Truth and Me, Candy Apple, David Castle. Good night, everybody. Much love. Um, oh, nothing but love for you all. Thank you, Brian, Milky Way, Truth and Me, and cosmic hugs, everybody. Until next time, I'm closing with the prayer as always, and I absolutely mean it. I continue to pray each and every day. I was outside yesterday before the storm hit, and just, I want to do a video, but there was a storm and the lights flickered and it was nasty and we got an inch and a half of rain. But I was like, I'll do it tomorrow. And so here we are now. But I was thinking about you down the list. Jody, thank you. Good night as well. And cheers, my friends. Say thank you to the universe, and thank you to the angels and all of the archangels and of all of the spirits and of all of the folks out there in the universe that are helping us right now. Tell them thank you and you appreciate it. I continue to pray that each and every one of you will accept and receive the healing, the knowledge, the wisdom, and the blessings of the universe. I continue to pray that each and every day, each and every one of you, your friends, your family, all of your relatives, and all of your relations will learn to accept and receive the healings, the knowledge, the wisdom, and the blessings from the universe. The law of three. And I always continue to pray that each and every one of you, your friends, your family, and all of your relations, past, present, and to come, will learn to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, and the blessings from the universe, and that you all continue to share what you have learned and continue to seek the wisdom within yourself so that we may share it with each other. Thank you, and until next time. Ta-ta for now. Ween, everybody. We thank you. And Bob, it's been a little jittery, but we thank you as well. And Brian, maybe we can reschedule another time. I still want to talk about the cosmic explosion thing, and I would try not to talk about it on my channel because I want to talk about it on yours. So, but anyway, I love you, brothers and sisters, tribal friends and folk, and you members of the League of the Like-Minded Beings. Be safe, be kind to each other, continue on with your journey, and we'll see you next time. Be safe, my friends. Much love from South Georgia.